Hello everybody, it's Father Adam here, and a nice picture of a fire that I found on my computer. So let's all enjoy looking at this cheery fire, because yes, for as long as there have been human beings, not just hundreds of years, not just thousands of years, but for millions of years, human beings have enjoyed sitting around a fire to share stories and enjoy being together and sing together and think together. And that's been the case long before there were tellies or computers or schools or books or anything like that. People would sit around the fire and just share their thoughts and stories. So that's what we're doing now. Oh, and there's another reason why we've got fire, but I'll come to that. Let's think about the story of Easter, and particularly what is coming this Sunday. We call it Pentecost Sunday or Whit Sunday, and this is the day when 7 weeks after Jesus rose from the dead, Jesus' disciples receive a special gift. So yes, Jesus rose from the dead and his friends saw him from time to time. The stories say that Jesus would pop up when his friends were together, and he would talk with them, eat with them, just enjoy being with them, and they would enjoy being with him, and then he would disappear again. And that went on for about 6 weeks, 40 days. And Jesus said to his friends, I won't be with you like this for much longer, but wait and see what God is going to do next. So Jesus' friends waited, and they prayed, and they thought about Jesus. And then on Whit Sunday, Jesus' friends were gathered together as usual, and Jesus didn't appear. They experienced something quite different. The story says there was the rushing sound of a wind. And Jesus' friends ran out into the streets and started telling the crowds in the streets of Jerusalem, the city of Jerusalem, they started telling them all about Jesus. And it says that although the people there in Jerusalem were from all different countries, think of the tourists in York, a bit like that, crowds and crowds of people, and Jesus' disciples ran among the crowds telling them about Jesus, and everybody understood in their own language. It's as if Jesus' friends were speaking languages they've never spoken before, and everybody understood them when they spoke about Jesus. So there was the wind, there was the languages. Oh yes, and the story says above the head of each of Jesus' disciples there was something like flames. And what that means is there was new energy here, new power from God. And this enabled Jesus' friends to do what Jesus had always told them to do, that they had to go and do the same things that Jesus did. Go and tell people about God and God's ways. Go and tell people about God's love. Go and help sick people and people in all sorts of need. Just go and do the things that you've seen me doing. And the Bible says that's what started happening then. Jesus' friends, who had been so scared when Jesus died, and when Jesus rose from the dead, they didn't really believe it, or they didn't know what to do about it. But now they do. And now they travel all over and they tell the story of Jesus, and they basically do the things that Jesus did, but now it's them doing it. And in the Bible it says they travelled across land, they travelled across the seas, they travelled to Rome, the capital of the world, as it was in those days, or that's the way they thought about it anyway. So as far as the story of the Bible is concerned, this is the beginning of the good news of Jesus spreading all over the world. And it all goes back to this day, the day of the wind and the day of the fire of the Spirit of God. And what about us? Well, the Spirit of God comes in all sorts of ways. And we experience the Spirit of God, first of all, when we breathe. Every time you breathe in, you are breathing in life that God gives. And that's the Spirit of God at work. And every time you think a thought, there's some electrical activity going on in your brain. That's energy from God. That's God's Spirit at work. And especially when you have a bright idea, that's the Spirit of God at work in you. When you have a bright idea, a new idea, a clever idea, or perhaps best of all, an idea that's kind, an idea that's friendly. Those thoughts come from God as well. And, of course, a word we've been thinking about a lot recently is wisdom. That's when you have really helpful thoughts, and thoughts that help you to help others and help you to understand things. All of this is God's Spirit at work in us, because God isn't just somebody sitting in outer space or on a cloud or something like that looking down on our world. God isn't even just Jesus coming and telling us how to live. That is God, but it's not just that. God is actually within us, at work inside us, like the engine in a car, like the battery in a powered toy. All those different sorts of images we can use to help us think about God within us and how God works. So, happy Pentecost. Think about God at work in your mind and in your heart and in your thoughts, giving you bright ideas, giving you wisdom, giving you kindness and love today and every day. And that's enough from me for now. Until the next time, bye-bye.